Hello, PlayStation planners, players, and pure geniuses. Welcome everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to continue working on the new city of New Prince. This is our new step-by-step build series that we're going to be working on building. I can't exactly say it's a how-to video, but just kind of to see the steps and phases that building a city might go through my eyes, anyways. And hopefully it helps you guys with your builds, gives you ideas, or maybe you just like watching this sort of stuff as you fall asleep at night. I don't know. Thanks for tuning in. So excited to be back online. I had a toddler accident with my old TV. So we were out of commission there for a little while, but now we're back on track, getting this city rolling for you guys and busting this content out. I hope you guys are excited for this. The last video did really good, as opposed to how they normally do. So I appreciate y'all's views and likes, and we're going to keep that content coming for y'all. We're going to start by expanding our arterial and collector road network. Naturally, the interstate is an arterial, but we also are going to have these 6-lane roads that have interchanges directly onto the interstate. And then the collector roads run parallel to the interstate between the arterial roads there. So now that we got that all squared away, we're going to start building a new neighborhood here, expand our grid a little bit. I'm not going to stick to the standard square grid that I did with Poncho. This is actually going to break up a little bit and conform to the landscape a little bit more, but these first couple episodes are going to be a little, I can't say repetitive, because there's still going to be some unique features to each network, but the beginning of a city is always a bit tedious, you know, building a lot of residences and stuff like that before you can get the populace up high enough to add in things like bigger industries and park areas, the likes of such. So just kind of using dirt roads here to build what's going to be our road network. This is a good cheap way when you're playing without any of the cheats activated to save your roadway budget. Same with right here, those two main roads that kind of come to a stop. There's going to be a roundabout there and an interchange, which will be in the next episode. But yeah, I didn't want to do that roundabout. We've already got some expensive road network things going on here that we don't need to attach that until the population demands it. So a little bit of pre-planning here. There's a couple of larger spaces in the road network there for parks and schools. We're also going to put in some more of our city services, fire department, medical, and police. But I'm going to slow this down a little bit, and I'm going to show you guys how I build a high school campus in a bit more of a real-time fashion. I love building everything, like I always say, as a destination. You know, it's never just a building. It's a building and everything around it. And high schools seem to usually take up a couple of city blocks because they have, you know, recreational activities like football and other sports arenas going on. In a lot of smaller towns, that'll be sort of a city center for people to get together for concerts and such. So just going to kind of put that together and make this a campus and not just a school building that raises property values. So got to make sure we get our football field in there. No American high school is complete without football. I'm going to put in a tennis court, a basketball court. Going to kind of group a lot of our sports facilities together there. Seems to be sort of the norm. Then we'll have some parking, a nice plaza area for studying. While I have this slowed down, we're also going to build an elementary school and our city services. So I know I usually just kind of speed through the whole video and narrate as it goes, but being that this is a step-by-step build, I do want to slow down and show some of what I do to add what I feel like is more realism to your campus. But, you know, that's all a matter of opinion on my end. So, you want to have a lot of green space, kind of shady areas, places where kids feel like they can retreat, study, do schoolwork, socialize, whatever it may be that all the kids do at high school. We've all been there. We know. So here we go, getting some plaza space in here. Just making this a really nice place to go to school. A place that I would want to send my kids to school at, if this was a real city. So now we're going to start on our elementary school. The high school I kind of put off-center of this grid, so that way the coverage is decent, whereas the elementary schools have a way smaller capacity and coverage, so I try to put those more in a centralized part of each grid. You know, give it a more of a local feel. So as we do this, I'm upgrading these roads because sometimes as you put down certain assets, it won't let you upgrade the road from being a dirt road. It will make you stick with the way it is. So we're going to do some of that upgrading now ahead of upgrading the rest of the roads. Now, off camera, I went through and upgraded the roads to the section that we built last episode. So that's a thing that isn't shown, but it happened. So this is always a really important part of building a new neighborhood. You want to make sure that you put down all the services that people are going to need before they start moving in. Otherwise, you can have high crime rates and a whole other laundry list of problems that can pop up from your people not having what they need when they move in. So, just going to use one city block, and I'm going to kind of divide it up here so that way, you know, it has some pretty good 360-degree accessibility, but it still has good access to the main roads just right there. So, but this is going to be more to service this city grid, just like there's city facilities on the other grid that we built in the first episode to handle that group of the population's needs. So, add some parking, some paths here. You know, make it seem accessible, approachable, I guess. So, kind of toying around with a couple of different ideas here. I build this as I go. I don't build off camera and then go to an earlier save and rebuild it on camera. I just build it as I go, record it all, and then I come back later and narrate basically what's going on. So, basically flying by the seat of my pants most of the time when it comes to these builds. So, I didn't really plan out how I wanted to do my grid as well as I thought. You can see I'm doing sort of these 3 deep grids for residential there. I don't want to have the big 4x4 grid houses yet. Those are as big as they get. So we're going to save those for sort of the upper middle class neighborhoods that will come later. We'll put some of those out in the rural area. That's going to come in the next episode. But yeah, we don't want any of those 4x4 houses yet. That's too big, takes up too much space, and right now we're just trying to grow population with as little space as we need to do so. So, gonna unpause this now and let everything start to build. Have to run some electricity because we haven't built any of our park areas there yet to sort of bind all this together. And once you unlock your districts, as you can see I'm doing here, kind of want to just be building them as you go. Even if you don't have any specific city policies you want to implement on them yet, it's so much easier to just highlight out your districts as you're building something, because maybe down the line you might decide you want higher tech houses, or you want leisure commercial, or an IT sector for your office districts. So it just makes city planning a little bit easier. You know, that the key to having a successful city and city skylines is planning at the beginning for it to expand. And I know that sounds really stupid saying that out loud, but if you build a neighborhood, you know, especially in these early stages when you're still unlocking stuff, and then consider it done when you move on, without planning for things like transit and stuff like that, you can really find yourself in sort of a traffic population hole trying to fix these problems, and it can cause many problems. You know, traffic buildups can make it to where people aren't getting to the stores, to where there isn't enough employees at work, things like that. So you have to future-proof as you build all the time. You can see I tend to leave a little bit of a space between the main roads and where the local road grid starts, you know, 4 to 8 grid spaces. So that way in the future, if I build metro or any sort of trains or whatever, I can add them in alongside these arterial and collector roads without really destroying a whole lot or having to repurpose a whole lot of land to make it happen. The space is there. So plus, this also helps with the noise that gets into the neighborhoods. These bigger roads produce a lot of noise. The bigger they are, the more noise they produce. Same with the faster they are, the more noise they produce. So keeping your local roads sort of backed away from these collectors and arterial roads can do yourself a lot of favors in the future as your density starts to stack up instead of spreading out. So this also gives you a good amount of space to feed your intersections. That way you don't have areas that only 2 or 3 cars can fit into, bogging down traffic. So here we are with our next milestone, 5,500. We've unlocked a bunch of new policies, a bunch of new roads. Looks like we've got some of our park stuff. So gonna expand some of our infrastructure there, and then we're gonna get started on putting some of this park together here pretty quickly. So down there where those trees are, that's already been highlighted for a forestry industry. That's gonna be a thing in the next episode, so stay tuned for that. But that's another one of those pre-planning things that I do, you know, highlighting an area before it's even built on. So that way, there's already an idea, already a project in the works. You know, I may know that I want the forestry industry there now, but the way that I'm going to lay it out might change 10 times before it actually gets put into physical being. So, just another one of those tips. You know, always plan for the next step with each step that you're doing. You know, I guess I sound a little preachy here. I could talk the logic of how to play City Skylines all I want to, but if it wasn't for some of these people that have been streaming this game for 4, 5, 6 years, I can't say I never would have figured it out, but it would have taken me a lot longer than it actually did to start playing this game. I had watched people playing it online for probably about 2 or 3 months before I decided to buy the game. There wasn't a whole lot of DLCs out yet. So it was really just the basic of the basic vanilla game. I started it on my computer. Even the mods were really limited at the time. Oh, well, controller died there. But, and I wound up moving to the PlayStation because the computer I have, after I got to about a population of 10,000, without mods, just with some of the DLCs. It would really bog down my computer. It's a laptop that I bought for work, so it wasn't ever meant to be, you know, huge game processing system. Okay, yeah, so see here how I had to redraw that road because I put that park down on a dirt road instead of on a paved road. So for some things, especially ploppable assets, it's better to have the road upgraded to what it's going to be before you plop it, because you can find yourself building a massive grid using the dirt roads and placing a bunch of stuff down and then wind up having to break an asset or move something or spend more money deleting it and replacing it to make it work, and that's just not worth it. You know, plan ahead. So you know, in America, we're all about our sports facilities. Everybody's about their green spaces, going out and playing ball, and so we're going to keep true to that with this build. We're going to make sure there's a lot of green space, a lot of places for people to run and play and just enjoy being alive. You know, the little things in life make the biggest difference, and so we want our Sims to enjoy all the little things that come with living in the city of New Prince. So kind of a playground in the central area there. You know, easy for parents to get to for their kids while watching other kids or family playing games. Good central location. I'm pretty sure I put some food stands around here also. What's a ball game without a hot dog or some cotton candy, you know, soda? You know, these are must-haves. So I think a lot of the trees that I put into this park didn't actually get put in on camera. They wound up getting put in post-production as I was doing my final scrollovers of the city. So I apologize for that. It does look bald for most of the video, but I did fix it. Made it look a lot better. So I'm just going to kind of go through here real quick and make a couple of small changes and fixes to little things around the city. I'm going to let the music play. Enjoy this time lapse as it plays through, and I'll be back with you guys here in just a moment. So now I'm just going to go around, put in a little bit of detailing. There's a couple more roads that I need to address to fix this whole thing up. But, yep, just going to let our city services get booted back up, upgrade a couple things. I took out those landfills. The trick that I did to demolish those without emptying them is something you have to have in the natural disasters downloaded content. Otherwise, you have to build one of those garbage kilns, the garbage processing plants, and empty the entire landfill out into it before you can demolish them. Or you can make the selfish point of losing like 10 sims to let the building collapse and then demolish it without rescuing them. There's always that. So I decided to demolish them without rescuing them. I guess most cities kind of have a dark history when they start, and that will just be one of the many dark things that this city tries to cover up for centuries to come. So, just cleaning up our districts here. Like I said, doing little fixes. Here in a minute, I'm going to start doing some detailing, doing some trees, and just kind of making the place look a little bit more green, more lively, a little more planned out. Just kind of using a medium-sized brush, not too intense on the placement of them. The larger trees, less intense, smaller trees, a lot more. And then once I do the little bushes, I turn it all the way up to the maximum density of trees that I can put down. Shrubbery and bushes, big thing in every city in green spaces that aren't regularly maintained, like around arterial roads. So, just gonna stick to what I consider realism for that. I'm gonna build out some of our paths here, complete the park a little bit more. We've unlocked a couple of things now, so we're gonna make it more than just a courtyard with a cafe. And we're gonna add some bathrooms, big chessboard, a playground, kind of make it really centralized in the middle, and then kind of have a little bit more trees and green space surrounding the outside. So that way the main area is kind of shielded from the city around you. And then, of course, there's tons of grass and green space to run around and play games. And whatever one might do at a city park like such. So, as you play, if you're really paying attention to everything you build and do, you'll find yourself always adding and changing little details about your city. So I like to leave these little sort of bars, green bars of space in between areas, because adding some trees, especially where that medical center and the police and the fire department, it's kind of a concrete jungle. So I really wanted to make sure that there was that gap there. So that's our park, pre-trees. They will come, I promise. So, aside from some small details, that's going to wrap up this episode. This is the first couple parts are always kind of dry, kind of rough. All you're doing is building houses and parks and building the basic amenities, building a industrial zone that's never going to last very long. Just kind of the workings of how to start a city and city skylines. You have to make a certain process following the milestones in the budget if you're doing it mod and cheat free. So, this is our start. This is our city. Keep coming back and keep sticking around to see more of it. Give you a couple of little overlays of it here. This supermarket area, I think I made that off camera actually. I think is actually going to get relocated closer to the interstate. Being there kind of on the heel of town, not seeing that be a thing. So, what you're seeing right here is me trying to get some of those panning shots before it's all edited. So, yeah. But I hope you guys really like these videos. Please drop a comment, like, and subscribe. It helps the algorithm, helps me keep these videos coming. I love playing City Skylines, love being a part of this community, and keep checking in to see more content just like this. Take care, everybody.